My name is Clarissa Sowemimo-Coker and I'm the CEO of OCT. OCT is a biotech company listed on the main market of the London Stock Exchange and on the OTC markets in the US. We're dedicated to developing prescription cannabinoid medicines for the multi-billion US dollar global pain market. We're hoping to bring non-addictive medicines to people living with chronic pain every day that's either unresolved or is resistant to current treatments. Many of those people become dependent on opioids and the very widely known consequences of these. In the US in 2020 alone, there were an estimated 60,000 opioid-related deaths, so it's very clear that there's an urgent need for new, licensed and effective treatments. Of course, people have self-medicated with cannabis for many years, for many different types of conditions, including pain. But there's not enough robust scientific and clinical data to either support the wide use of cannabis for chronic pain or for it to be approved by national healthcare systems. That's what we're doing here at OCT. We're undertaking research, development and clinical trials which will provide the evidence that regulators need to approve our new cannabinoid medicines for use. That means that doctors will be able to prescribe cannabinoids with confidence and give people living with chronic pain a safe and efficacious and non-addictive alternative to opioids. Cannabinoids themselves are the compounds found in the cannabis plant that have been shown to have a range of therapeutic benefits for the body, including, of course, pain relief. The advantage of taking a pharmaceutical approach to cannabinoids rather than a medicinal cannabis approach is that our medicines will be tested through robust clinical trials and approved by national medicines regulators, such as the FDA in the US, the EMA in the EU, or the MHRA here in the UK. That means that we can make evidence-based efficacy and safety claims about our medicines, which will be prescribed by doctors to target very specific indications. We're looking at both large and orphan conditions with IP protection and, of course, that all-important market exclusivity. We've got 4 active drug development programs and a library of almost 500 proprietary cannabinoid derivatives to support our future pipeline. We're aiming to develop each of our compounds for multiple indications to maximize our assets. We are, of course, focused in on chronic pain at present and rare diseases, but our extensive library of compounds will provide us an opportunity to widen the focus of our research into other therapeutic areas in the future. We've got a highly qualified board and management team, and we completed our first clinical trial a little over 2 years after listing on the LSE. Our aim is to have our first medicine in the market within 5 years, and that global pain market is currently valued at £60 billion, and by first launch is expected to grow to £75 billion. So in terms of the investment case, in my experience, investors are most interested in the biotech sector's high growth potential and the potential for significant returns on investment. It's also a sector of innovation, so it can be hugely exciting to be involved in the research and development of new therapies for patients with unmet needs. I know that's something that gets me out of bed in the morning for sure. People often invest also for personal reasons, having witnessed perhaps a loved one with a condition or living with a condition. We also have, favourable demographic trends for biotech. The rising prevalence of chronic disease. We've got a growing and an ageing population. We've got increasing demand for innovative therapies. The market size is really growing all the time. For example, the compound annual growth rate for our lead indication, CIPN, is 6.4% on an existing market size of over £1 billion. The biotech sector is a global market, so there's significant opportunity for M&A, for partnerships, for licensing deals. It really is a deal-rich environment with large pharma companies often seeking out smaller biotechs such as ourselves to either license assets, for example, the recent Eli Lilly and Confo Therapeutics deal, or acquire companies such as Jazz Pharmaceuticals' acquisition of GW Pharma in 2021 for $7 billion US. Regulatory milestones also de-risk assets and allow us to increase valuations without dilution for existing investors. So as we move our drug development programs through regulatory milestones, the risk of failure goes down and the value of the asset goes up, which obviously isn't a dilutive event. It's very good upside for the biotech sector. So biotech is inherently high risk and high reward. And I think OCT's competitive advantage is the fact that we are working with cannabinoids, which of course human beings have been consuming safely for thousands of years. We believe that the risk of failure, therefore, either at an early stage, phase 1 safety, or even later on, phase 2 in efficacy studies, is much lower than a competitor who is perhaps working with a different input. We also benefit from IP, from patent, from regulatory protection. We've got a derivative library of almost 500 cannabinoids that is exclusive and also includes over 14 patent families. Our lead program, 461201, is patent protected, giving up to 20 years of market exclusivity. Our second program, 130401, is targeting an orphan indication, so will benefit from regulatory exclusivity. And we've also recently filed a patent application in respect of that program as well. We're an agile and adaptable small team who can react and pivot and refocus as the need arises. And we operate a virtual model here at OCT. So we leverage our global network of world-leading CROs, such as Evotec and Charles Rivers, to minimize the central costs and focus all of the spend on research and development, which is where the value adds. So OCT is a biotech company listed on the main market of the London Stock Exchange and also on the OTC markets in the US. We're dedicated to developing prescription cannabinoid medicines for the multi-billion US dollar global pain market, and we're aiming to bring non-addictive medicines to people living with chronic pain every day. We've got 4 live programs in development at present. Our first program, Program 1, also known as 461201, is a patent-protected, highly potent and selective CB2 agonist. It's successfully completed its first phase 1 single ascending dose clinical trial and is now ready to move to the next stage of a multiple ascending dose study and phase 2 trial. Its initial target indication is as a first-in-class treatment for chemotherapy-induced peripheral neuropathy, or CIPN. Approximately 60% of people undergoing chemotherapy treatment are affected by CIPN after 3 months. It's a very debilitating and unpleasant condition. It causes numbness and tingling and pain and sensitivity in the extremities. So you might not be able to pick up a cup of coffee or drive a car. It can be progressive and enduring and often is irreversible. And it's in addition to the other side effects that we already know about of chemotherapy. There are no licensed treatments out there at present, and the global market in 2020 was worth $1.18 billion US. We've also got great preclinical data for other pain conditions with 461201, in particular irritable bowel syndrome, which supports our indication expansion strategy. Program 2, or 130401, is a drug-device combination. It's a phytocannabinoid inhaler which targets, initially at least, a severe type of facial pain called trigeminal neuralgia. Trigeminal neuralgia, or TN for short, is an excruciating and very unexpected and fast onset pain which makes it difficult to treat. It delivers a sort of intense kind of stabbing electric shock-like pain, and people who are living with it can have multiple episodes in one day. It really is a very difficult condition to live with. We're going with a pressurized metered-dose inhaler because the inhaled route of administration may mean faster onset of pain relief when compared to other routes. In terms of the numbers of cases, so in the US, approximately 15,000 new cases are identified per year. And in 2021, here in the UK, there were over 77,000 people living with TN. Our preclinical studies for this program are complete, and we've just wrapped up a fundraise to take it into its phase 1 trial, which we do expect to start in the near term. We have also recently filed a new patent in respect of this program. We've got programs 3 and 4 as well, so they are earlier stage in development and significantly advanced, it has to be said, by our exclusive license from Canopy Growth Corporation, which includes 335 cannabinoid derivatives, which are already available and already tested, together with 14 patent families. In particular, so program 3 is an undisclosed neuropathic pain indication. That's what we're targeting, so it's still in the pain space. And we've taken a THC derivative and demonstrated in very early testing that it's showing better analgesic effect and lower psychotropic effects via an oral route of administration than THC, which is delivered intravenously. So It's really showing good potential as a better pain reliever with lower psychotropic effects than THC. Program 4 marks our expansion into oncology, and we've discovered a potential first-in-class immunotherapy agent for the treatment of solid tumours. It's a small molecule, so the oral route of administration is possible, which potentially makes this significantly cheaper to manufacture and to administer than existing immunotherapy treatments. And in 2020, the global cancer immunotherapy market was valued at approximately £70 billion. So it's an extraordinarily large market and a big problem to solve. So we're very excited about that discovery of a potential new immunotherapy treatment. Here at OCT, we are pre-revenue, so a milestone-driven business. We have just completed a fundraise to extend our working capital up to 12 months and to take OCT 1301 or Program 2 into phase 1, as well as get some INDs open with the FDA or investigational new drug applications with the FDA for both Program 1 and Program 2. Those are very important milestones for investors and, for other pharmaceutical companies who might be looking at what OCT is doing. We've got a really rich pipeline of assets, and of course, we're always looking at ways to bring in non-dilutive capital to fund our ongoing R&D. We look at grants, we look at licensing, we look at partnering. All of those things are on the table.